Hey gang, it's your GM Draheen here with another homebrew. Today we're going to be talking about vicious weapons and some other things. Now, in my games, I give players 750 gold, and that's the maximum you can get from the um, Dungeons Master's Guide for players that are slightly higher level. Now, this that I'm showing you here is the same magical price guide. You can actually Google this online. It lists as a guideline for, magical items. So with 750 gold, like especially if you're doing combat items, a really favorite item was the uh, vicious weapon. Now this is the base price, so if it's like, a hand crossbow or something which costs 75 gold, you would add that price to that, so you'd pay 425. No big deal, right? So that's kind of where this video starts. So let's jump into it. So vicious weapons again, uh, from 2014, you're looking at when you roll a 20 on your attack roll with a magic weapon, the target takes an extra 7 damage. Simple. You rolled a 20, congratulations, you get an extra 7 damage, right? Um, that's great. It's changed a lot. Let's look at the update here. So the update is this magic deals an extra 2d6 damage to any creature it hits. The extra damage is the same as a type as the weapon's normal damage. So this is quite uh, a beast of an upgrade. So not only you know, dealing extra damage, you're dealing extra 7 damage every time you hit. That's in addition to the weapon damage, which is usually, if you're using I don't know, a short sword or something, uh, so say an extra 10 damage a hit plus your ability modifier, which is typically 3 or higher. So you've got to figure 13 to 15 damage every time you hit with this weapon. Even if you deal minimum damage, it's still really strong. There's no way to water it down, and there's no weapon like this in the game that deals as much damage as a weapon like this. It raises a lot of questions from people reading it. It's like, did anybody check this? What were they thinking? Um, so I don't think there's an easy fix, honestly, to fixing this what's written here. Now, vicious weapons have a history. Typically, when you saw vicious weapons like in other games, like I remember in Dungeons and Dragons Online, vicious weapons would deal damage to the wielder. So every time you hit with it, you would deal the extra damage, like it says here, 2d12, which is basically 2d6 to your card, but you take 1 to 3 damage to yourself. So every time you hit somebody else with a bane weapon, or excuse me, a vicious weapon, you were taking damage. Um, and maybe this is a possible fix. I don't think there are any other weapons in the game that deal damage to the player if they use them on a hit. But that's just whatever. That's the history. And one of the cool things about 2024 is weapon mastery. So, weapon mastery has been open to these classes, right? And I'm all for giving, especially the melee classes, I felt like some love. If you're playing any of my games, I tend to give out more items along the lines of weapons and armor because I know, I mean, it's just when you're a melee person, you're definitely at a higher risk than if you're standing back, right? But uh, the reason I have these weapons up is Vex. Now, advantage is a thing, obviously, that everybody wants. Everybody wants advantage to attack, right? And Vex, every time you hit, you grant advantage. So imagine every time you hit, you deal extra damage with the vicious weapon, and you have advantage on your next attack. So the chances that you crit are that much higher. uh, it gets, it just gets insane pretty quickly, especially if you start rolling, 20s, or if you happen to go range with your fighter with a new champion, you can crit on a 19. So it gets pretty crazy pretty quickly. And if you're a rogue, you're dealing extra sneak damage. If you're doing range, you're probably, you probably have something up like Hunter's Mark. The damage gets off the charts pretty quick. I'm not going to add it all up. So I don't think there's a way to fix this, honestly. And so I kind of went back to my Magic the Gathering days, and decided to ban it in my games, the new vicious weapon, and just leave it under the 2014 format. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't think there's an easy way, honestly, to fix this. This is, there's no other weapon like this in the game. And when you look at the implications with the new weapon mastery rules, it's a bit nuts. And planning encounters, if you're playing encounters or a DM, there's no creatures that have abilities like even remotely close to this. So keeping things balanced. Also, other for other characters in the game who may not, somebody who can't deal this kind of damage is going to kind of look at that and like, wow, that's a lot of damage that this person's dealing. I don't deal that kind of damage with my character or whatever. So I think the solution is to ban it. Um, and I came up with that solution because I used to play Magic Gathering. So they used to, whenever you had something released in Magic the Gathering, like a card that, you know, sort of broke the rules or gave someone a really unfair advantage, and ended up on a list. They have a banned list that, regardless of what format you play in, pretty much every format has a list of cards which you cannot use because they are exploitive in nature. And I think that's what this is. And I've never felt a need to ban anything in D&D before, but this book hasn't been out a month, and I don't know. What do you guys think? I think that's the only solution to this is banning the new 2024 vicious weapons in the Dungeon Master's Guide. That's just what I think. What do you guys think? I really want to hear back on this, so leave me a comment. And these are my games. Hope to see you at the gaming table. Take care.